Hopefully you all know who I am. If you don't, I'm not doing my job. The name's Tom Emmer. I'm running for governor. The message has been very simple. The message is about reducing the size of government. A government that's become so large, it's literally sucking the atmosphere out of the private economy. You must reduce the size of government, all the excess, the duplication. You must bring down the cost of doing business in the state of Minnesota. You must keep jobs that we already have here. And you must start attracting good-paying jobs back to this state again. That's the message. But here's what I want to do tonight, because it's kind of fun. I came in and it's like, this is my favorite time of the year. Yes, it is. And not because it's Christmas, because it gets cold. I like it when it gets cold, because we know that it's not cold down there. This is like heaven here when it gets cold, because that's the only place that snow and ice will exist. In my mind, is in heaven, all right? But it's also because this is so Minnesota. And yes, I do say it right, because I was born and raised here. This is what it's all about, is coming together and people bring food. There's nothing like a potluck. And by the way, I'm going to try and, you know, everybody gets up and says, thank you for inviting me. I'm going to change it a little bit and say thank you for letting me invite myself. Because I want to come back that week after the precinct caucuses. If this is what you're going to be doing, I want to come back and enjoy some of the lasagna, some of the, honestly, this is the best time to be in Minnesotans right now. I want to talk to you about two things. I want to have a little fun, and then I want to talk to you about what we're going to win, and then I'll be done. One, the fun is this, and I don't know if I told you guys this, but I heard this a couple weeks ago. A young man walks into a church, and he's confronted with the preacher, and the preacher says, son, how can I help you? And the young man says, preacher, I'd like you to pray for my ears. And the preacher grabs a hold of his ears, shakes his head, and starts to pray loudly over the top of it. And after about a minute, he lets go, and he says, son, how's your hearing? The young man looks up and says, well, I don't know, it ain't till next Wednesday. They say you gotta use that once in a while. All right, here's what I want to tell you. This is why we're going to win. This is why we're going to win, because I think about things like this. This is what's waking everybody up around this country, I hope. One, you got 5 million people in this state, and you've got 5.03 billion in debt. A little over $900 for every man, woman, and child. You have $12 trillion of federal debt. It's a little over $39,000 for every man, woman, and child in this country. Every man, woman, and child, every child, your children, over $40,000 worth of debt before they get started. Why? Because something happened after our founders created this great country. It's reversed itself. You know, it used to work from the bottom up, and now it works from the top down. And Alan talks about our country. It is being taken away from us, and it's time to turn that back. It's time to go back to those values. It's not acceptable to let our kids start with $40,000 of debt. It simply is not acceptable. We are the only ones that have the message to win next fall. Republicans are the only ones with a message. We just have to know how to communicate it. And what is the message? The message is, do you want a life that is going to be controlled by government, that will be determined by government? Do you want a life where the best you can achieve is what government has to offer? Or do you want a life where you can be the best you can possibly be? That is the choice. And I'll tell you what, if it's me, and I want to thank my friend David Han, who's a true, Han or Han, I never get that right. I'm just teasing, but he's a true gentleman. But whoever it is, we will win. You and I could trade places. And if we deliver the message the way it's supposed to be delivered, from the northwest corner to the southeast corner and all points in between, we will win. Because this is all they have to offer. R.T. Ryback, I got a kick out of this today. R.T. Ryback is, and by the way, the R.T., did you see that? Raise taxes, Ryback. All right? But this is perfect. You know, the Minneapolis Star-Tribune, you've got Republicans out there running, and what we just get the little corner, you know, and they take the camera and they zoom it right up to your face, and they get the face where you're like this. You know, but no, the Democrats, R.T. Ryback gets the front page. This is a guy, just so you know, these are the types of things that they spend money on in Minneapolis. $5.3 million for a green roof on the Target Center. $500,000 for fancy artistic water fountains. This is a guy who wants to be the governor of the state of Minnesota. $180,000 to market the city's tap water, including $75,000 for a tap water website. This is what they spend money on where he comes from. Climate, we've got, this is the one that absolutely drives me crazy. $1.746 million over the next 5 years will be spent on, quote, art in public places. Okay? This is what they're spending money on. He wants to be the governor. Climate change grants of up to $10,000 were awarded to the Bedlam Theater. The theater will ask audience members to complete the Minnesota Energy Challenge survey. We're spending $10,000 on that. Gardening Matters. This essential government function will help to create meaningful connections by matching gardeners with gardening spaces. It's very important. Do It Green. Do It Green is the name of the group that got this $10,000 grant. Whatever this group is, it will create a low-carbon kit and hold 4 low-carbon cook-offs to raise awareness about food decisions. This is why we will win next fall. We will win. This is also why we will win. Democrats last spring, their only answer to any problem, their only solution is business as usual. And what is business as usual to Democrats? Tax and spend. Tax and spend. Yeah, I mean, I said it over and over on that floor, and I'll do it all next summer. Tax and spend. Here was their only answer. $2.7 billion shortfall. They're going to raise taxes by $2.7 billion. We don't tell people enough what that meant. $465 million in increased income taxes. $210 million in increased cigarette taxes. $209.4 million in increased beer tax. $10.5 million on used boats, ATVs, and snowmobiles. $4.23 million iTunes tax, the downloads tax. $15 million increased on gift taxes. Gift taxes. $60.5 million in repealing the gas tax credit and the ones that just were the worst. They want it at a time when people are having trouble paying for the roof over their head, when people are having trouble putting clothes on their kids and food on the table. Their answer to our problems, rather than getting rid of some of the excess that government has to offer, maybe one of the 200 people that are employed in our DNR, sorry, I apologize, employed in our DNR studying the ecological changes in our state parks. Maybe one of those folks, or maybe one of the 20 people that's employed by the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency in their communications department, writing all those press releases on all the wonderful things the MPCA does to frustrate the growth and development of new business in this state. No, rather than eliminating any of that excess, their idea was to eliminate the mortgage interest tax deduction. Their idea was to eliminate the education tax credit. Folks, that's why we are going to win next fall. It's how we deliver the message. It doesn't matter what face they put up. The ideas are all the same. And the ideas are wrong for the state of Minnesota. They're wrong for the families of Minnesota. They're wrong for the future of Minnesota. This party, and only this party, offers a future for our kids and their kids. And that's why we will win not only the governor's office, but the rest of those constitutional offices. And we will take back a majority in the legislature. Republicans, once again, will have a voice at the table. We will be governing this state. I'll tell you what, you put people like Alan Quist in Washington, you put us in charge of St. Paul, we will do it right this time. And we will be governing this state for a long time to come. Thank you very much.